Well, good afternoon, Cowboys Nation. How's everybody doing today? I know it's been a few weeks since we were able to get a show recorded and on the air. Uh, Apologize for that. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit more frequent and steady, giving you steady content here on Boom Broadcasting and Fans First Sports Network. But you've got Starstruck with Mack. My own show. Hey, awesome. And as you can tell by the name, it's definitely a Dallas Cowboy podcast. For all you Dallas Cowboy fans, thank you. Welcome. Hope you enjoy the content. Please come back. Please like us on your social media platforms. If you've not subscribed for Boom Broadcasting, go ahead and do that as we're approaching our 500th subscriber if we haven't already achieved that milestone yet. Also, like it's on Fans First Sports Network. Wonderful content on that program. Just wanted to go over a little bit of stories as far as, updates on around the ranch. As you may be aware, Agent Zero has been the first ever Dallas Cowboy to don the zero. Will come out this year, hopefully at some point. Estimation is he may end up starting on pup, but it is DeMarvion Overshown who will be Agent Zero. He will get to wear that and don that number. I think it's been in the works for a few years now, but finally he gets to wear the number 0. He will be the first Cowboy to ever wear the number 0. Now, a lot of you say, well, not technically, but hey, it's 00 is what our mascot Rowdy wears. And that's the reason no Cowboy has really ever worn 0. And then when the NFL brought it out, nobody did for the Dallas Cowboys. But this will be the first year that someone from the Dallas Cowboys or a player has ever worn the digit 0 as their uniform number. Also, hopefully he'll get to see him this year. Reports are surfacing that he's aiming. He looks like he's saying that, he may end up starting the season on pup and get to come back around mid-season. But he's actually shooting for to start week 1. He hasn't ruled that out, which would be great. I mean, if he can make the recovery from the massive knee injury that he had, would be awesome. And reports are out there that, hey, I've been through this before. One of the biggest hurdles in a knee injury is, the cutting, the mental part, and he knows how to navigate that from the previous season where he had to off season where he had to come back from his rookie year injury to his knee. So I mean, he's had that experience. He knows what to expect. So he knows how to approach rehab. He knows how to navigate those hurdles, the mental part, which is probably one of the hardest parts to navigate. So he's trying to do that, and hopefully it'll help expedite his recovery process, and we'll see him back. Now, if you've been a fan of Dad and the Boys, a show that my son Michael and I do on Boom Broadcasting and Fans First Sport Network, that recently, last 2 episodes, we've had a mock draft. And, I chose Ashton Genty and Jalen Walker as my top 2 picks. And he ended up choosing Abdul Carter and a kid that I really love, Amarian Hampton from North Carolina. Got to actually see him in Durham when they played the Blue Devils, and amazing talent. So go and vote for whoever's draft you like the best. But unfortunately, I think for both of us, it's looking like those 2 running backs may not be in the cards for the Dallas Cowboys, as stuff is starting to – the rumor mill's kind of starting that, Genty could go as high as to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he's got to navigate the Jaguars, the Raiders, and the Bears to even get a shot to get to number 12. It's probably not in the cards for us to reach and get Ashton Jeanty unless we trade up, which I do not advocate for. If he falls there at number 12, we would be foolish not to run to the podium and grab our running back, a generational talent. But I do not advocate for us to move up into the draft and the resources that we would have to relinquish to get that, especially at the running back position. If we're moving up, it needs to be for Hunter, who Jerry Jones is infatuated with. But I'm really still not an advocate for moving up either, although Hunter would provide opportunities to play at both positions, whether it be wide receiver or cornerback. So you can kind of justify that, having to give up a few draft picks and stuff to get him. But and if you really look at it, you Matt can say, well, look how great the team did when Zeke was carrying the rock in his first couple years. It allowed the defense to rest. It allowed the offense and the young rookie quarterback, Dak Prescott, to excel. And that argument can definitely be made. And the fact that Schottenheimer has said that he wants to run the ball a lot, he wants everything to be predicated on the run, then yeah, you do need a workhorse back. You do need, and getting a generational talent like Jeanty would definitely suffice to expedite that process. However, you're going to have to potentially give up great resources. You could be looking at giving up your first and second pick, as well as a future pick next year, maybe. If you're going up for that, I would honestly go after Hunter, who would provide a player for both positions of need, wide receiver and cornerback. And those are your top five, one of your top five money positions for both of those, wide receiver and cornerback, to go along with offensive tackle, defensive end, and your quarterback. So, I mean, it's not looking for the cards there. And it looks like, after he goes there, Omari and Hampton could go. So be looking at the running backs from Ohio State that we may end up looking at in the second round. It looks like, even though both of those I feel were good, solid drafts, if they were to work out for the Dallas Cowboys in our mock drafts, I do not feel that either one is going to be an actual reality for that. And that's what mock drafts are anymore. Nobody knows what these GMs are thinking and front offices are thinking. And there's always going to be a surprise. They're all going to be like, really, a team drafted him there? That's an overreach. They said that about Tyler Smith a few years ago. Sometimes Jerry is the smartest person and the staff are the smarter person in the room. They often get accused of trying to act like the smartest person or the smarter individual. And sometimes it works out for them because, on the first round, they tend to hit on these offensive linemen. And for general, except for a few exceptions like Claiborne, who had dealt with injuries, and Taco Charlton, they generally hit on their first round picks. Guyton's still a work in progress. I do look forward to him developing this year and getting into the gym and adding some bulk, adding some strength, and coming out and really shining this sophomore year to help solidify that offensive line. Dallas actually picked up an offensive line, former Washington Commander / Redskin, Charles, and he's got some versatility as to the positions he can play. He signed last year in the preseason with the Titans before abruptly retiring. He does have some starting experience for the Washington team. And also, not only the experience, but he's a young kid. Now, will he come in and start at right guard or right tackle? Who knows? But he does provide competition for the room. And that's never a bad thing. Is you got Brock Hoffman trying to solidify that spot, and you got Terrence Steele trying to hold on to his position as a starting right tackle. But I've just been told before I break into the top 50, as we're going to be going from 50 to 46 in this countdown today, I do need to take a quick commercial break to allow our sponsors time to show their love and support for Fans First Sports Network and Boom Broadcasting. And we'll be right back after this quick break. Well, welcome back to Starstruck with Mack on Boom Broadcasting and Fans First Sports Network. As I mentioned right before the break, we're getting ready to start with our break into the top 50 as we go forward. And at number 50, the Rocket Ishmael coming from Notre Dame. I love him. Rocket is one of the coolest gentlemen I've ever met. And we had the fortunate pleasure, Michael and his brother Hunter and I had the fortunate pleasure at a tailgate experience in Jacksonville a few years back to actually go down and Rocket was the guest. I mean, and he come out and he come around, he took pictures with everybody, he signed autographs, stood around and talked to people and just socialized. And what an experience. I mean, he liked me because I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, and bringing up the fact that he's Notre Dame and a Dallas Cowboy just makes it that much more special. So I mean, to have Rocket Ishmael, he definitely deserves in the top 50. I could even see him moving up just based on that interaction. I mean, it was awesome. I should have brought in and he signed a little thing, Rocket, a little football, like the kind that you see at the football games, at high school football games. A little bit smaller than that, though, which we keep in their living room displayed. One of the cooler gifts that we got from that trip. But just the experience of getting to meet him. I mean, he wasn't with the Cowboys very long. He was right after Aikman's career was coming to an end. But I mean, he's an awesome talent. And Rocket definitely describes the speed that the man played with. But he made my list, not necessarily for what he did with the Cowboys, although he had some plays. I mean, against Washington, beating them that one game in overtime. But I mean, it's just one of those things where that experience in Jacksonville solidified him in the top 100, and he lands here at number 50. Moving right along, because I know we do not want to run over today. At number 49, Ron Springs. Ron Springs was a workhorse in the backfield for the Dallas Cowboys. He was kind of like that change of pace back for us. And Ron, I don't know how many of you are familiar with his story with the kidney disease and the kidney transplant. Him and his teammate, had surgery to allow Ron to have some extra years in his life. But Ron was one of those epitomes. Usually it was Dorsett out there, and then the next thing you know, it was here come Ron, third down. Coming out, and he was great catching the ball out of the backfield, getting those extra yards. Had some wheels to him, and he just was one of those class acts that you could depend on. To make first downs, to catch the ball, to block. He was kind of like the Tony Pollard before Tony Pollard. When Ezekiel and Tony was working together. But him and Dorsett made a great pairing to go in there and along with Robert Newhouse to give the Dallas Cowboys a tremendous backfield there in the late 70s, early 80s before Herschel and all the other guys come along. And moving right along at number 48. Now, we've had Dan Bailey. And we've got the kid now. For kickers. But Raphael Seption was the kicker before them. I mean, he was the epitome of a kicker. Raphael Seption was just, I mean, he was money. And he brought a lot of games, where we got to celebrate victories just because of his leg. And he could kick. Now, he doesn't have the leg like our current kicker. I don't think anybody ever has. But he was Mr. Consistency, and we've been fortunate through the years as an organization to have tremendous kickers. And this kid is no exception. He was kind of the forerunner to the ones that we've seen over the recent past. And he allowed me to celebrate numerous times as I watched the Dallas Cowboys win games. So I mean, if you're listening to this top 100, the premise is they don't have to be in the organization top 100 players to ever don a uniform. They have to have donned the uniform for the Dallas Cowboys at least 1 year. And they just have to be somebody that I really like, that I connected with as a fan. And that's it. I mean, they could have rode the bench, but this guy didn't. But I mean, they could have rode the bench, but there was something I liked about them. And it could be anything. It could be the interaction at the Jacksonville game that put Rocket at number 50. It could be Ron Springs' story, with the kidney transplant later in life. The way he ran the ball, he was a third down back. I just liked, the way he looked in the uniform on the field. It could be anything. It could be hits that they did. It could be dances like Kenny the Shark Gant, his dances. It could be Terrell Owens to get your popcorn ready. It could be Des Bryant throwing up the eggs. It could be a lot of things that put you in that top 100. There is no rhyme or reason to it. I would strongly suggest you, if you haven't already at some point, go in and think about your top 100 Dallas Cowboys if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. Or if you're not a Dallas Cowboy fan, think about the team that you do root for. Who are your top 100 players? Because it's a hard exercise to sit there and go, wow. Okay. And then you get down there and you're like, man, I forgot somebody, or I need to move this guy up. And I've done some adjustments, during this exercise where I've had to move guys around. And then you always get the current guys like CD Lamb, that does something, after you've already made your list and you're like, wait a minute. Nope. He just moved up 10 spots, man, he's playing injured like he is. Oh God, I love that. Let's move him up some more, and so you get that. And so as his career continues, CD Lamb could eventually find himself up near the very top, if not the top, depending on how things go. Maybe if he brings us a ring to Dallas, that could be in the top one or two. Because I really do like Dak. I like the person beyond the football. And so it's just those little things that you sit there and you go, wow. How you see reports about how they act in the community, how they interact with the fans, how they interact at practices with their teammates, the coaches, the effort they put out on the field, like, Emmitt Smith running to lead us to the number 1 overall seat in the playoffs against the Giants with a separated shoulder, which led to a Super Bowl. It's that kind of inspirational stuff that you just sit there and go, wow, that resonates. So therefore that person's one of my fan favorites. So for those players that will potentially see this podcast and you're sitting there and you're going, wait a minute, I'm not even in the top 100. It's all right. You're a Dallas Cowboy. I love you. I love you until you leave. And then if you left through retirement, God bless you. I still love you. If you went to another team, especially DeMarco Murray, you went to the Philadelphia Eagles. I can tell you now, DeMarco, you're not in the list. You know, you're a great player during that time. You had a really great year that 2014. Thought you was going to lead us somewhere. You and Romo, baby, and Dez. But guess what? You went to Philly. Come on now. Can't be pulling for you. You're not in the list, you know. So that is the premise of the list. Raphael Seption was great. He took and kicked the ball better than anybody up to his point did, you know. So now number 47. Hey, 47, Larry Brown, Super Bowl MVP. And that is the reason he's number 47. Larry Brown, as a kid, two of my worst memories in football was going to school on Monday morning and going around my classmates and my friends that were Pittsburgh Steelers fans. And them getting to rub it in that their Steelers beat my Cowboys and won the Super Bowl, that they had a Lombardi. It took me a long time to even like Terry Bradshaw and Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. Great players, just the wrong team. And what they did to my Cowboys in the Super Bowl 2 times really stunk. Really stunk. But Larry Brown brought some vindication. Larry Brown helped us win our last Super Bowl that we won by intercepting Neil O'Donnell twice and solidifying the MVP, but also solidifying the fact that we did not lose 3 times to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I didn't have to go into work and listen to Pittsburgh fans as an adult rub it in that they won the Super Bowl and that they beat us 3 times in the Super Bowl. Well, they didn't get the third. Thank you, Larry Brown. Thank you for giving me that little bit of peace. Thank you for allowing us to have our 5th Super Bowl. Now, I know it's a team sport, and I know a lot of players contributed, but you solidified it. And out of nowhere became the Super Bowl MVP. Now, you went on to leave and go to the Steelers after that year. I mean, not the Steelers, but the Raiders. Didn't do anything there. Came back a little bit for Dallas in 98. At least she retired. But you had that Super Bowl MVP. You had that ring. Actually, you got 3 rings. But that's right, 3 rings with the Cowboys. So you was there during that little heyday. And you allowed and you solidified that cornerback position when you were there. It wasn't just that you were there. You were good. And come out of nowhere. I mean, you know, I can't remember if you were a late round draft pick or undrafted even. But you were spot on. You solidified that secondary. You and Thomas Everett and the guys, Darren Woodson, oh man, you know, and the fact is, I didn't have to go into work and hear the Steelers fans just going off and off and off. So for that, you definitely deserve my top 50. And you land here at 47. You probably will move up in the near future just because that is some people will do some stupid stuff and find themselves falling out of the top 100 or finding themselves falling down. That can happen too. Other players can move up too. So this is a fluid list, by the way. And last but not least, that we're going to talk about today is none other than D.D. Lewis. Texas boy through and through. Hook 'em horns. Ring of Honor. D.D. Lewis. What a linebacker. As you can see, 1968 to 1981 for the Dallas Cowboys. So, I mean, you got me through all of my youth. I mean, you early fandom, birth, then early fandom, then elementary school, all the way up to junior high before you decided to lay the cleats up and retire. And man, did you take and deliver on the football field. I mean, if I had to compare you to one player that most people or fans of the Dallas Cowboys would know now, I would say Sean Lee. You and him had that same kind of grit mentality and excellence on the field. What a wonderful career. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for being part of that doomsday defense along with Ed Too Tall Jones, Harvey Martin, and the boys, and just allowing us to have success through the 70s and where we became America's team. And that's right, we are America's team, because I don't care if you go to any stadium that the Dallas Cowboys are in, you can bank on two things. You can bank on that you're going to pay higher ticket prices for that team's game if it's a away game for the Dallas Cowboys. And two, you can bank on the fact that we're going to outnumber you more than likely at the football game, because we come out and it's like we take over. It becomes almost like a home game for the Dallas Cowboys. And that's amazing to the Dallas to Cowboys Nation that you support this team, even though we're in a drought, even though we've not had necessarily the most success since the mid 90s. That fan support still holds true. I mean, the number of people that go through the Star, the number of people that go through AT&T in any given year, just as a tour. The people that follow Fans First, Dallas Cowboys, Boom Broadcasting, Starstruck, Dad and the Boys, follow other podcasts about the Dallas Cowboys. If you look on the media, they know that one of the biggest clickbaits they can do is put Cowboys in there somewhere. So people going to click on it, me especially. Or if a free agent's out there, even though knowing we ain't going to sign them, because, I mean, they're the head free agent. They're top at the list. They're going to be the money maker. We ain't signing them. Unless they're one of ours. But that's who it'll be rumored to that they are fit. I saw it on there, today actually online. Wow, Dallas proposed trade that Dallas would land the kid Hall from the running back from New York Jets. First of all, Dallas isn't going to give up the draft picks that necessarily kid to kid. And they're not going to do it, especially knowing that he's only going to be there 1 year and then he's going to have a contract that he's going to want to really get paid. This is the draft that they're going to solidify that running back. I don't think they will make the same mistake like they did last year, where it's not matching up with the value. Let's push it off. And no offense to Maurice Leafau and Marshall Nealon, great picks, definitely needed. But it was one of those things where the cards never lined up for the running back position. This is a different draft, folks, with the running back that are available, because there's running backs that are legit in each of the rounds. I could definitely see Dallas picking the kid out of Iowa. I could definitely see them picking Hampton if we were lucky enough. Don't see Genty falling to us, but I could see, one of the Ohio State running backs coming to us in the second or third round. There's picks there. Cam Scatabo, uh, in the third. We don't have a fourth, so we'd have to get him in the third. So we may have to reach a little bit in that third round if we haven't got a running back yet. But there's enough quality running backs that it stretches pretty deep. And picking at the top portion of the order kind of helps and plays in our favor. So I do believe this is the draft that we will pick it. We don't need to be trading draft picks to get a 1-year rental and then be paying them a top dollar contract. Nothing against the talent there, but I just don't see it happening. I hope that Jerry and them's a little bit more conservative in that matter, and they tend to be that way. So you've reached the top 46 players. Next week we'll come back in with next episode we'll come back in, start with the next 5. But running back through them, it was Rocket Ishmael, Ron Springs, Raphael Seption, Larry Brown. Thank you for that ring, and those not having to deal with Pittsburgh Steelers fans. And then D.D. Lewis, thank you for being the quality linebacker that you were, and a menace to opposing offenses. Love watching you all take running backs down, tight ends down, quarterbacks down, and y'all were some of the best there. Fellow Longhorn alumni, and then a Ring of Honor Cowboy. For Starstruck with Mack, I would like to thank y'all for tuning in today and enjoyed the hope you enjoyed the show. We got more content on Boom Broadcasting. Please subscribe. Give these guys your love. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you, and you have a blessed day.